Hey guys, Billy Davidson with Davidson Pressure Wash Painting, Hammond, Louisiana. Hope you all are having a great afternoon, such as we are. Thank you for coming and joining us this afternoon. We're going to talk about several topics. The obvious one is the little clip you just watched. I want to go ahead and say thanks to Jacob for being a good sport and participating in that little clip. We had a lot of fun making it, and we'll probably get a lot of laughs at that for years to come. So I wanted to mention a couple of things before we get down to business. The Father's Day giveaway. The drawing will be held June 10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere in that neighborhood. I know Father's Day is on the 21st, but I would like to get that X-Jet out to whomever wins it before or shortly on or after Father's Day, depending on how shipping is and depending on what a winner is. So if you need to still join that contest, please go do so. There's not a whole lot of people there, maybe 50 or 60. I'm not even quite sure. But you need to find the video go on my YouTube channel, go down and find it and watch it. It got a few instructions in it, kind of like the video. You got to be a subscriber and also comment on the video. And yep, you'll be automatically entered in to win that free X-Jet and some O-rings and maybe a little something else I can find to throw in there and have it shipped out to you. One other thing on that as well, depending on where you're located, the value of it is going to be around that $200 mark, US dollars. If you're in Canada, be aware if there's any applicable taxes to your winning. If you win that would be something we need to know about ahead of time. Also, UK, we got a lot of UK guys that watch the channel in Australia, New Zealand. Shout out to y'all. I talked to a guy out in New Zealand a couple, 2 or 3 days ago. He is kicking butt down there. So that was really good to hear. He's actually doing some striping too. He's just getting into parking lot striping. So proud to see that for sure. I would love to visit that area one day. You never know. Might get a chance. Chance comes up, I'm there. Also, getting back to the Father's Day giveaway, depending on where you're located at, I'm going to try to get it out to you quick as I can, but I'll need to talk to you on the phone. So whenever you do win, I'll comment. I'll probably announce it on a video like this, and then I'll need to talk to you on the phone and get your shipping information and any special shipping instructions to you. Some people live in like an apartment complex or something like that, and there's special delivery instructions. So other than that, please go join that, because I think that's going to be pretty good little contest, and we're going to be doing more of it. So if y'all want to see more of this type of stuff, please subscribe to my channel. We definitely welcome you with open arms. Also on the video training that I'm doing, guys, if whatever one you're interested in, whether it's how to price out a parking lot, whether it's how to start a dumpster route, or either how I keep my guys busy in any type of economy, but almost no advertising cost, what you need to do is text me at 985-345-0778. 985-345-0778, and let me know what video you want and your zip code. Those 2 items are important, and then I'll take it from there. Either I'll send you something to your email or send you a text message. It looks like if you got an Android phone, probably need your email address. If you got an iPhone, I can just do it in iMessage straight to you, send you a little link to pay online, and then shortly after that, you'll receive the videos that you requested. So and some of the guys were asking about that, how to get job leads fast video. That was recorded about a month and a half ago. I still think it's very valid. It's 50 minutes long. We do talk about the situation that was going on with a month and a half ago with everything being shut down. I know things are opening back up, but I still feel that video is going to be valid and valid for a while. And if I have to update it, I will. But I really do think you can use those tactics in that video to start getting more work than you can handle. We doing it. I don't Google ads. I don't do none of that. I got business cards. I got a couple of things going on, and I talk about that in the video. And so if you don't have thousands to spend on Google AdWords, this might be something you want to look into. $15 is basically giving it to you. Talked to a lot of guys that's watched the video, sold a few of them. They reporting back to me. I said, look, is there anything? I'm really in tune to this. I said, is there anything that I can change? Anything that I need to tweak in it? Because I know we hear you are where you at. And these guys are saying, look, for the most part, this is working. And this is getting them work that they otherwise wouldn't have got. So that's always a strong position to be in, is to be able to go get jobs and having them call you. Man, that's really nice. Having a bunch of people call you and you can't get to all of them. That's where I like to be. So think about that. Now, getting back to our video that we want to, that like you seen the clip at the beginning. How do you handle a situation like that? If something like that came up, let's say you drop a couple guys off or whatever, they drive over to a customer's house. An hour into it, next thing you got a phone call. I mean, your guys are out there rolling around in the dirt fighting each other. What do? Obviously, that would be a bad situation that we want to try to avoid at all costs. So, a couple little tips and tricks I've learned over the years. Some of them may be obvious to the guys that's been doing this for a long time, but the new guys, this is really important. Let's say you just started, or let's say you've been in the business for a while and you're getting really busy and you need some men quick, or gals, whatever is part of your crew. You need some personnel really quick, and you hiring people like you're kin to, you're hiring the next door neighbor's son. We've all done it, and we don't quite know that person, but we know they could probably start pulling the hose for us and helping us move ladders without much training. But then you don't know their personality. Are they going to clash with your main tech? Or are they going to clash with you? Or are they going to clash with the customers? So you really need to think about that. And I understand if you're in a pinch, you gotta have some help, and that is the situation. But you need to be upfront with these guys that you're hiring, and let them know. Say, look, you are here to do a particular job. There's no you're conversing with the customer that because. To be honest with you, we seen a guy 2-3 weeks ago. He called. He said one of his guys got into a shouting match with one of the customers. I was like, man, it's not. And so he ended up terminating the fella because it wasn't his first time that he's had issues with him. So what you kind of need to do, and the way I've always done it, is when I hire someone new, I bring them in tight. I tuck them in. They stay with me for several weeks. I will throw curveballs at them. I will see where their tolerance level is. If it's really low and they fly off the handle really quick, that's one thing. If things escalate too quickly with them, or if they have a little bit of a higher tolerance level, those are the things you want to know. Now, it's not to say that the guy that has a low tolerance level can't work for you. Maybe it's to say he needs to move to a different shift where maybe he's not working for, one of your customers that are a little bit cranky, and your customer base. If you got one particular customer so extremely laid back and easy going, you just go over there and do your work and they pay and it's fine. Or do you have that customer that walks around and inspects every square inch of your work? And both of those customers are great. They got their place in the world for sure. We can't knock them. They got they're paying us good money to do their work. I want them to look at it, but sometimes they get to be a little bit too much. So if you got someone working with you that just can't handle that type of criticism, maybe you need to move him to a night shift position or maybe he's working alone. We had a guy about 7 or 8 years ago. If you put him with somebody, it gummed up the whole situation. He couldn't handle it. He wasn't a people person. He liked to work alone. He told me that in the beginning. And so I knew about it. So a couple of times he had to have a partner with him, and things were much slower. Things didn't progress and flow through the night like they were supposed to. So he went back to working by himself, and that was just something I knew that he had to be alone. So you may have one of those guys where they work better by themselves. You don't need to hold their hand. You just right out the gate, they are off and running. And there may be that guy, or you might have the guy that needs that hand held a little bit longer than what you were thinking. So you need to be there with your men. I know some of these guys or hiring personnel, and they just, here, go, giving them a wand and a hose and tell them go, with not much training, don't know the temperament of that person. So, slow it down a little bit. I know you're busy. I know you're in the office probably doing invoice and call. I get it. We do all of that too, 24 hours a day sometimes, but you need to take the time out and get to know, if you got 2 guys on the truck, get to know each of them pretty good and see how they do a ride along. I know if you do a ride along, it's going to be a little bit different, but at least you can kind of get a flavor of the situation if they do get along. If one of the guys has bad jokes all day long, you'll probably find out about that pretty quickly. A couple years ago, I hate to even say it, but we had, it's been about 4 years ago, so I don't think the guy's around these parts anymore. I think he's moved on, but he was a good worker, and we loved having him there for sure. And we were doing a lot of inside warehouse work and doing power washing on floors and taking big machines and sucking it up, the ride along machines. But for some reason, he went home after work one day. I didn't know that he was having problems at home with his wife. I didn't really never get into that with him, but he went home one day and man, everything was gone. He calls me up and he's like, she's left. And I was like, who? I didn't know what I was getting ready for bed. We had a long shift, and he's like, just devastated. She wouldn't answer the phone or whatever the case was. So for weeks he came to work, and this is just one example that, you might would run across out there with one of your personnel people. For weeks he'd come to work, and you guessed it, man, that's all he would do. And I understand he was heartbroken. I felt for him. I felt, the pain that he was going through, especially seeing, but he would tell my whole crew constantly, every night, all night long, just, talking about her. And they finally got enough of it. About the 3 or 4 weeks into it, they was like, this ain't, they was a little more cruel about it. And next thing I know, they squaring up. And I'm like, hey, not here for sure. So, you got to think about that, kind of be in tune to what you don't have to get into your guys' personal life, but kind of be in tune to a little bit of it. You'll know when they're having a bad day sometimes. And, if you got to pull them to the side, especially, if they're younger, you say, hey, look, son, we've all been through this. It's life. Life is tough. And you got to make the most out of it. And, you got to have a nice, safe, clean workplace where your whole crew is at least cordial with each other. They don't have to be best friends. But, if you notice there's some friction between 1 or 2 of them, maybe get them separated, get yourself in there, be there a little bit more. And if you're in tune with them, you will hear about these things that might be going on behind your back, and that way you can fix them before somebody gets a scrub brush swung at them. So like you've seen in the little clip. So think about that. And also what I wanted to mention regarding your people that you hire, this was another little problem. I wouldn't call it a problem. It's a couple of incidents that we had years ago. This has been about 9 or 10 years ago. We had the guy that was working with us, his girlfriend, spouse, whatever she was, she would come on the job. They wasn't fighting or nothing, but it was always about, hey, she got to come get the keys, and she got to come get $20. But, it's just always something, and it was 10, 15 minutes on the phone with her, telling her where to turn at and all of this stuff. And because a lot of times we work in remote places, and then it was another 10 or 15 minutes walking to her car, and all that. And I get it, it's whatever, but you make a habit out of it, it becomes an issue. And it was becoming an issue. And I'm the type of guy that just will go ahead and before it gets too bad, I was like, hey, this is not good. It's not gonna keep happening, and it's not fair either. So it's not fair to the other guys that are staying there working and not having all this other stuff going on. And that goes to cell phones as well. Even today, we carry our phones with us. I let my guys carry their phones with them. My phone's with me. I got a young daughter, so if I'm away from home and she needs to call me, I'm going to take the call. And I expect that, that if I have an employee working for me and they get a personal phone call, definitely, for sure, they can go ahead and take it, and get it done. I don't mean like hanging on the phone, 10, 15, 20 minutes very often all day long. That's not going to work. But I encourage you, look, if you got a quick text or something, go ahead and do it when you're not doing nothing important. So, catch up on that where, step in the shade for 5 minutes or whatever, do what you got to do, and then jump back in the game with us. But let me know. Don't go hide behind a bush and I'm expecting you, hey, waiting on something, or expecting your pair of hands to be there to hold something for somebody, and here we can't find you. Just let me know, hey, I'll be out 5 minutes, I'll be right back, whatever you need to do. And that's how I manage that situation. It works out well. The guys appreciate it, having their, being able to have their phone on them. I'm the same way. If I'm not, don't have my phone with me, I feel a bit disconnected, especially at work. Now, if it's on private time, that's another deal. But at work, and I got to answer customer calls as well. So that's another thing. And speaking of cell phones and that sort of stuff, we don't allow the earbuds in. That's a no-go. And ever, I don't allow my guys to have earbuds in for obvious reasons. They need to be able to hear what's going on. It's already loud out there with machines running and water spraying, and then to have the earbuds in, I just don't think it's a good idea. So we don't allow that. Some of the guys want to do it surface cleaning, especially at nighttime. I really frown upon it. Tell them, look, it's not a good idea, because you can't really hear if something's going on with the machine or your surface cleaner. Because a lot of times we can hear something going on with it, before we actually realize there's an issue. You could just listening for the equipment and the way it sounds. So we don't allow the earbuds, and I don't know if you guys do or not, but that's a little safety issue as well. There's someone's yelling at them for help or shut it down or whatever. It's not a good idea. Now, I did have one guy that would wear one side, like a little Bluetooth thing or something, and he had the other ear vacant. I told him it was okay, but I don't know. It was a gray area, I guess. So I guess it's okay sometimes, but you don't be jamming out, not tuning out, not hearing me what I'm saying. But so that's another thing that we always do. So obviously, also on a job site, and gets back to personnel, your guys getting in arguments, heated arguments, or swinging fists at each other, swinging a scrub brush. We don't like horseplaying either. So all the arm wrestling, depicting these guys that think they can choke each other out, that don't know what they're doing. They don't need to be doing all that horseplay, and that's not the time or the place to do it. And matter of fact, if somebody were to get injured, they had to work, so you got workers' comp, and there's going to be some issues there. So no horseplay, none of that arm wrestling, and I've seen these guys come up with stuff that just was crazy. Like one guy would hold a lighter under his hand. Can you hold no, no, not today and not here. None of that pain tolerance. I think it's like pain tolerance stuff. So yeah, do that. And I don't know what it is. Been about 4 or 5 years ago, all the guys thought they could choke each other out for some reason. It's like, y'all are crazy. So think about those things when you start to hire your people. And you never know. You may have that guy that takes a little bit extra training, but at the end of the day, once you get him trained up, he could be with you for years and make himself a good living, and in the process make you some money as well. So don't give up so easily. Sometimes you're not going to have a ready-made guy. We kind of, in a very specific industry, we'll hire people sometimes that have been mechanics, that have worked in warehouses, been an operator, like heavy equipment. But very few people have past experience in power washing. Most of the guys that are working in power washing and that do get very good at it usually tend to break off at some point and start their own thing. And that's fine, as long as they're not doing it right next door to me. And we always just have a gentleman's agreement that, I'll teach you everything I know. And as long as you, so far so good, go find your own little niche and little spot and do it over there. And so sometimes that's good, but it's hard to find a guy that's really good at pressure washing or soft washing that's looking for work. So keep that in mind. If he was really super good at what he does, he probably would already have a job or some equipment. I know there's some special cases like, hard times fall, but for the most part, you're going to find a guy that needs probably trained from 0 to 100. He needs everything. So be patient with that as well. So again, no fighting on a job site, no horseplay, no arm wrestling, that sort of thing. We don't allow it. Cell phones, we talked about that. Bathroom breaks is another issue. You need to do something about your bathroom breaks. We always try to have another vehicle there. And, so that is what it is there. So these are some general questions I've gotten over the last few weeks, and comments and phone calls and text messages. I wanted to try to answer a few of them together. Don't forget about entering in the Father's Day giveaway. Again, find that video on my channel. Just go down and find it. Watch it. Follow those instructions. You need any video training, text me, 985-345-0778. Guys, I'm Billy Davison. It was a pleasure spending the afternoon with you. I'm headed off to do some parking lot saving. Y'all have a great afternoon, and we'll talk soon.